All right. Well, today let's talk a little bit about leadership. And the topic is, are you showing up as a leader or are you ghosting? Now, that may be a term that some of you are not familiar with. So let me go through and explain a little bit. But one of my favorite quotes is from Woody Allen that says something like this, 80% of life is just showing up. And, that really is true. And especially as a leader, okay? Because as a leader, you are expected to show up, which means if you aren't showing up, you're not really leading, okay? Which is another thing for you to consider. Now, what does it mean to ghost somebody? Well, ghosting usually means, again, you don't respond to emails, you cancel meetings, you don't show up when and where you are supposed to. And that's especially troublesome if you have told people that you will be there. Okay, so if you've made a commitment and then you don't show up, you're acting like a ghost. Okay, and so that's where ghosting comes from. Now, let me share with you a little bit about why I'm going to talk about that today. Because again, sometimes we might not be comfortable with certain discussions, but as a leader, you just have to show up and you have to have sometimes those discussions that you don't necessarily want to have. And so if you go and hide instead and are acting like a ghost, then you're not really being a leader. So let me give you a couple of examples that have happened to me this last week. Okay. Now, one of the programs that I have is an executive forum for people who are the head of internal audit at their organization. So again, these are people that are leading other people. They should already kind of know some of this stuff, but again, we all need some help. So what has ended up happening with some people is, I talk to them. They're totally committed. They want in the program. They're ready to go right now. They're so excited when we talk. But maybe they have to go and ask, make sure it's okay in their budget or something like that. So, okay, if they're not ready to sign up today, then we schedule a follow-up meeting, okay, for like a week out. Now, what I've had happen this week is two different people have scheduled a follow-up meeting, and then literally a few minutes before we're supposed to have the call, I just get an email notification that they have canceled our call. So, of course, hey, things come up. I understand that. So I send them a message and say, hey, see that you couldn't make it today. When do you want to schedule our follow-up? And then nothing. Okay. So at that point, they start ghosting. Now, again, I don't know why they're doing that, but let me explain a little bit more about why this can be so damaging if you are a leader. Okay. So these people came to me. They said, I want to do this. I want you. Let's do a follow-up call. They committed to being on a follow-up call, and then they don't show up. So the first question I want to ask you is, if somebody committed to you and then they don't show up, what does that tell you about that individual? Probably that they lack some commitment, that maybe they don't have the integrity that you thought they had. Now, again, I'm not placing any judgment or blame on these particular people. I'm using this as an example. But what am I left to believe if they commit to something and then they don't show up? Now, what's ironic is both of these people have been frustrated and feel like they're stuck in their career. They're not seeing other people giving them credit. They're not being able to take on more responsibility, other things like this, right? And so one of the reasons, again, why they were interested in joining the program, to be able to learn exactly how to do that, right? Well, and so again, as I sit back and I sit here and think now, well, it's probably no surprise that these people have been passed over for promotion, or they haven't been given increased responsibility, because how we show up in one part of our life is how we tend to show up in our whole life. And so what, again, does that tell me about these people? Well, if they make a commitment to me and then they don't show up and they don't even have the decency to be able to respond back and say, oh, hey, I'm sorry, something came up, I would totally understand that. But when people move into ghosting mode, what that lets me know is, again, probably no surprise as to why they are having difficulty in their career. Because if they're ghosting me, they're probably ghosting other people in their organization. And so again, imagine what the other people in the organization are probably thinking of them if that's what they're doing. Okay. And so folks, it's not very hard to show up. It's not hard to show up. You just do it. Okay. Now, again, maybe with these people, they were a little embarrassed because they were all excited. They told me they wanted in and something happened. They got cold feet, anything like that that could have happened. And I understand. But again, if you are a person of integrity, it's better to have that discussion. I'm not going to, to go off on them. If they don't want to be in the program, I don't want them in the program. But as I said, it's a deeper, more important thing to be thinking about. As an employee, as a leader, these are all live, so here we go, right? As a leader, are you actually showing up? Are you following through with the commitments that you have made to other people? Or are you hiding and being a ghost? And I will tell you, if you are hiding and being a ghost, you're not being a leader. So it's time to smack yourself around in the face a little bit and start showing up. If you expect to be a leader, you must show up. Okay? So that's my message for today. Now, since I am live streaming, I can see actually some of the comments that come through. Facebook, it's a little easier for me to go back, but I see that there's been a few come in on from LinkedIn. So I'll try to answer some of those right now as well before I hop off and have to get to my next call. But Ali Ikram, hopefully I'm saying that right, sent in a message is asking, is CIA Part 3 course worth it? Can you talk about that? Not really the intention of today's call, but like I said, for those of you that were here just to listen for the leadership, you can jump off. If you're interested, I'll talk a little bit here about the CIA as well, since Ali actually asked a question. So again, I'm not sure, Ali, if your question is specifically about my Part 3 course, because of course, I think it's worth it. And there's reasons why, because I do things a little bit different than anybody else does who offers CIA courses. But as far as is getting your CIA worth it? Yes, it is worth it. It's probably the most widely recognized certification out there for internal auditors. Is it the best? It's the most widely accepted. Okay, so again, if you're willing to put in the time, willing to put in the effort, to spend the years that it takes to get the certification, I say go for it. It's a good thing for you to do. Now, another question that Ali had here was, what's the difference between Hawk's videos versus yours? I don't know, because I've never seen Hawk's videos. I know that I do my videos much different than other people do. And that is, again, reason why I actually pull in what's called multisensory learning, which is a program that I actually developed on how to help you learn the best. And so using those videos in the CIA course that I provide does help you actually learn quicker and retain the information more, because by doing it in the way that I teach it in those videos, you're actually able to learn and retain between 50 to 70% of it, instead of usually with reading, it's only about 10%. So again, little extra on there because I saw that those questions came in from Ali. So if there's more questions about that, let me know. If you have other questions too about the video earlier on about leadership and whether you're showing up or whether you're ghosting, make sure and comment below too, and I will try to get back to you on that. So with that, have a great day. Oh, Ellie popped in. You're lucky, man, because I got a few more minutes before I hop onto my next call. So here we go. How long would you say one would have to study for part 3 using your course on average? Okay. That is going to vary for each individual. Now, typically people spend probably 100 to 200 hours studying for the CIA exam. I think that's way too long because I think usually you start forgetting the information at that point. With my part 3 course with the videos are probably 20 to 30 hours in length. So what I suggest is people go through that at least one time, study the areas that you need a little bit more help on as well. And then go back, if you want to, go back, watch them again. So I suggest, again, with my program, I believe if people put in a good 50 to 60 hours worth of learning on it, that usually you would end up being prepared for the exam. But again, that's different for everybody. But a lot of the things that I put in that course actually help you learn and remember the information much quicker. In fact, there's a whole 90-day CIA success plan that usually comes with it, depending on the option that you buy, so that every hour that you're studying, you're actually getting more out of it and you're not forgetting as much information as well. So Ali says, thank you. Really appreciate your answers. You're welcome, Ali. I'm glad that you caught me on this live, even if it wasn't related to CIA, that I was here and I could answer those questions for you. If you've got future questions, just let me know. And with that, everybody, have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on a future live later this week. See ya.